In a great kingdom ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar, a golden image stood tall on the plain of Dura, shining under the sun like a command carved in metal. It was a symbol of power, a declaration that all people, nations, and languages must bow to it at the sound of music. On the day of its dedication, the land was filled with officials, governors, soldiers, and citizens gathered in obedience to the king's decree. Trumpets sounded, instruments echoed across the field, and a voice rang out that when the music played, every knee must bow to the golden image or face the burning furnace. Among the crowd stood three young men from Judah, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They had been taken captive from their homeland and placed in a foreign land, yet they carried something within them that captivity could not take away: faith in the living God. As the music began to play and the crowd around them fell to their knees in worship of the image, these three remained standing. Their eyes were not fixed on gold or kings or fear, but on the God of heaven who had called them by name. Whispers quickly spread through the crowd. Men pointed fingers. Eyes turned in shock and anger. Word reached the king that three Hebrews refused to bow. Nebuchadnezzar, furious at their defiance, commanded that they be brought before him. And so, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood before the most powerful man in the empire, surrounded by fear, yet not shaken in spirit. The king's voice thundered with disbelief, offering them one more chance. He reminded them of the music, the golden image, and the furnace prepared for those who disobeyed. He questioned who would be the God able to deliver them from his hand if they refused to bow. The threat was clear, the fire already prepared, blazing with deadly heat. But the three young men answered with calm courage, saying they did not need to defend themselves before the king. The God they served was able to save them from the furnace, and even if he chose not to, they would still not bow to any other god. Those words filled the air like a silence louder than fear. The king's face twisted with rage, and the furnace was heated 7 times hotter than before. Soldiers bound the three men tightly in their robes and prepared to throw them into the flames. The fire roared, consuming everything near it, and even the soldiers who carried them were struck down by its heat. Yet Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown into the furnace bound and helpless, falling into what looked like certain death. Inside the fire, something extraordinary happened. The flames that were meant to destroy them did not consume them. Instead, another presence appeared among them. The ropes that bound them burned away, but their bodies were untouched. And in the midst of the fire, there was a fourth figure walking with them, like the Son of God, moving through the flames as though they were nothing more than wind. The heat that was supposed to end their lives became the place where they discovered they were not alone. Outside the furnace, King Nebuchadnezzar stood in shock, leaning forward in disbelief. He asked his officials whether they had not thrown 3 men bound into the fire. But now he saw 4 men walking freely, unharmed, and the fourth looked like a divine presence. The king called them out, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stepped out of the furnace without even the smell of smoke on their clothes. Not a hair was singed, not a thread burned, not a mark of fire upon them. The king was overwhelmed, his voice now filled with awe instead of anger. He declared that the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was the true God, the one who could save his people even from the fire. What was meant to destroy their faith had instead revealed its power to the entire kingdom. And so, in a land ruled by idols and kings, 3 young men proved that true faith does not bow to pressure, does not bend to fear, and does not break in the fire. For when they were thrown into flames for refusing to compromise, they discovered that God does not always remove the fire. Sometimes, he steps into it with you.